Welcome back to our channels, Warriors. We are still growing. We are less than 500 subscribers away from 10K. That's like in a 2-month period. Unheard of. And it's all thanks to you guys. You guys are doing this by sharing the channel, commenting, and liking. Thank you. For those that you were on the live last night, it was fire. Let me give a shout out to those that contributed. Esquivel, Rivera, The Jabs, KC Fan, Raymond Mora, Fernando, Angel, Raymond, Luis. Luis, you came through. You guys all did. Gabriel, FP Liberal, Luis, Spinal, 420 All Day in Visa, Silos Mesa, Big Bird 13, and Samantha Lynn. Thank you. Honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart. All you guys, I see all of you guys. Now, this episode right here is going to be about COVID-19 in the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Yeah, we made it through, right? So to say, we came out on the other side. Wow. Oh my God, man. I think by now we've established the incompetency level at the managerial Sacramento headquarters level. I mean, I'm not making any of this up, right? It's been proven, and proven again, right? COVID-19 was no different. As a matter of fact, it was deadly. People lost their lives, man. So, when COVID first came on scene, right? I don't remember exact years, but you guys remember when it was. 2019, 2020, probably 2020-ish. It hit the whole world new, right? It was new. People are hearing about this. Toilet paper went out of stock. And that's what I'm trying to say here is that, man, no matter what happens it's like CDCR does it all backwards, does it all wrong. Like I specifically remember when it came on and they had masks. They had the COVID-19 masks there, readily available if you would like to have one. Plain and simple, if you would like to have one. Besides that, we were rocking bandanas. We were rocking gator necks. Like in the military, you see those things. Whatever we can rock, we were rocking it. Because nothing had really came out yet. It was just kind of, I think they had said like mandatory face coverings. That's what that face covering meant. Just cover your face, right? And it wasn't until the inmates were tripping, and rightfully so. The inmates were scared. This was crazy, man. This episode's wild right here because I have never seen inmates scared like that. Like that. They were scared. Because they knew that if it was going to come in, it was going to come in through us. And that's the truth. How else can it get in there, right? Because we're the ones, staff members, employees, volunteers are the ones going out into the community and coming in. They were scared. And this is a different type of fear. I'm not talking about like being in a riot or I didn't even see fear in those inmates' eyes when they were kicking it off. They had that look of like dedication, right, to whatever mission they were carrying out, aggressiveness. This was legitimate fear, man. And yeah, oh boy, did it not take long. Did it not take long for COVID-19 to enter the prison systems? They did halt visitings, right? They halted visiting, which in itself is kind of, that was good, right? I mean, they halted visiting, not because I didn't want them to get visits, but because it needed to be Isolated, contained, and controlled, right? Just like any other thing that we deal with. I'm not gonna fast forward. CDCR did accommodate with the video visits, and an accommodation to that. So that's a good thing, right? You're only not just gonna hear bad from me. You're gonna hear the fair across the board. So they did accommodate that, but the damage had already been done. Um, so we had a lot of angry people. We had angry staff members. We had angry inmates, scared inmates. We had angry families, scared families, right? They halted all, allegedly, they halted all transfers throughout the state of California, right? Major transfers. But what they didn't really halt was inmates claiming to be suicidal, inmates claiming to have like medical conditions. I'm not talking about the ones that really, really, truly did have it. I'm talking about the ones claiming, oh, they were getting bussed up and down the state to the mental health crisis beds in Chino, Lancaster. Like, oh, it was that part was normal program, right? So spreading, man, spread. Like, I'm not gonna give you my stance on COVID. That's irrelevant in this topic. My the point of this is what happened. Well, man, I was the public information officer, the PIO, the right hand man of the warden. I told you this, the bad warden. So, and the administration that followed suit, we had to open up the incident command post, the ICP from Sacramento gave us the word, all prisons need to open up your command center, emergency, alert, alert, alert. Wow, man. As much as this former warden Pollard claimed to be of policy, claimed to know policy, this dude did not know policy. I'll tell you that right now, 100% fact, this dude did not know policy. He just utilized fear, intimidation, status, and power to impose his will on others. Policy states when you activate that, you do it in a certain manner. You do it in a certain way, right? I'm not going to give you up confidential information. I'm not going to give up game. But this dude totally disregarded that. Disregarded what you're supposed to do. And even like a good AW, associate warden that came from somewhere else was like, man, I never seen nothing like this. And I'm like, you're telling me. Right? There was a lot of things that we hadn't encountered. Like, well, first of all, COVID. Second of all, you had a warden and an administration raining havoc on alleging to be about policy, transparency, and ethics, and they were the complete opposite. So you have inmates in housing units, right? And don't take disrespect when I use the word inmates. This is just to tell a story. So, oh, they were testing positive. They were getting it, man. You can tell, like, man, even staff members were getting sick. Everybody was sick, right? It was spreading. Like, I got it. I think I got it before it hit the mainstream. Everybody on Delta Yard had gotten horribly sick with a cough from you know where. So, man, with incompetency comes danger, right? No matter where you're at. They came up with a bright idea to just start moving these dudes around from Charlie Yard from Bravo Yard to A Yard to Delta, moving dudes from Echo, moving dudes from yards to other buildings. So in essence, like it was it was all bad. You can have one housing unit, right, on Delta Yard, and in that housing unit, you would have inmates from Alpha Yard move in there, inmates from Bravo Yard move in there. A lot of them refused and they would go to the hole. You would have inmates from Echo Yard in there. And I can't remember Charlie. I think it was Charlie too. I'm pretty 100% sure it was Charlie. So think about what I just told you. You had one building on one yard and they're moving inmates from every facility into that building. How ridiculous is that? You could have just literally, I swear to God, you could have just literally isolated everybody in place. Boom! Whether or not you locked them down, whether or not, right? None of this was cool, but hey, this is an emergency. This is a state of emergency. This is a global, national emergency. So we'll get you on the back end, fellas. You know, it's kind of one of those things like, hey, I know we're all enduring this. And I would tell, as much as the real one is right here with your boy, with you guys, I would tell the inmates, like, hey, check it out, man. We're going through it too. We're going through it on the streets. We can't go eat at restaurants. We can't go nowhere. We are locked down. And they could kind of see it. We were not joking. They could understand it. What we could not understand and wrap our head around is how they were making the cops, lieutenants, sergeants, and officers, make them forcefully move them from point A to point B just to spread the COVID. A gym, a house unit packed with COVID sick inmates. How, man, you want to turn on like a horror movie or a zombie apocalypse movie? It was like that. Swear to God, it was like that. You had the officers wearing like the gown with the gloves, with the mask, man. Those poor cops had to sit in that podium for 8 hours, 16 hours, man. They at the time probably did not have the COVID. But if you're in a gym full of sick inmates, yeah, this is wild. This is uncalled for. This is a travesty. Inmates were dying. Staff members were getting extremely ill. Now let me tell you about buffoons. 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 I already told you guys about an acting captain that I let borrow my captain bar and turn around. He kicked me in the ass, right, with my own shoes that I let him borrow for the interview. So, there was a good lieutenant who became ill with the COVID-19 virus, extremely ill, hospitalization type ill, right? And there was numerous, right? But this case in particular, man, this buffoon of an acting captain literally called that poor staff member at the hospital and said, hey man, I know you're in the hospital, but if I take you a laptop, can you over there and knock out some work from your hospital bed? I would never lie to you guys, man. I would never lie to you guys. I got no reason to lie to you. What would I gain? What would I lose? You know, but oh my God, I'm disgusted. Again, another day that I missed breakfast because I'm reminiscing and I'm willing to drag myself through the mud to expose the truth, right? Yeah, he called the guy in the hospital. Dude was hooked up like this. Like, what do you want me to do? Just click, right? Like, wow. Oh my God. Then you guys wonder why people leave. No, thank you. No, thank you. So let me just go over some stuff that I seen on the internet. I just typed it up real quick. Prison guards' COVID death resulted from transfer of infected inmates. Family alleges. Yeah, that goes to tell you they were transferring them. They were transferring them throughout the state. We were getting them. This is the truth. Truth. LA Times. CDCR begins accepting inmates after pausing because of COVID-19 uptick in prisons. Yeah, the major transfers, buses halted, right? But all the other little mental health crisis bed runs, the appointments and stuff like that, that shit was still 100, right? Gavin Newsom is fighting a vaccine mandate for prison staff. Way to go, buddy. Wow. Here's one. Here's a serious one, right? Families of prisoners hospitalized with COVID-19 say they are not notified until too late. That's the truth, man. And understand this, the lieutenants make the notification, right? We'll shoulder that burden. I will shoulder that responsibility. Understand that it was so chaotic. The administration putting us through literally hell with an agenda that they were pushing, bombarding the officers, sergeants, and lieutenants with making the moves. Right? We were somewhat fighting these inmates, man. What an awful place to be on both sides. Telling an inmate, you got to move over here. No, I'm not gonna move. You got to move over here. No, I'm not going to, right? It becomes a fight, and all because the powers that be right? And this is the whole point of this channel, is to let you know that, hey, the troops on the ground level were not on board. We were not on board. Not on board. So I told you I'll accept this responsibility. I'm not making excuses, but man, could you imagine as a lieutenant trying to move dudes, because you gotta like, I mean, there's things that gotta be done to move an inmate from point A to point B. A lot of the dudes were claiming safety concerns, so I gotta lock them up in the hole now, right? That takes paperwork. So I'm typing away at the computer. Yeah, when an inmate dies or they're out at the hospital, but like everything is constantly moving, right? So we do make those notifications, those next of kin, hey, this is Lieutenant so-and-so from Richard J. Donovan. I regret to inform you. And that's horrible. That was one of the worst parts of my jobs. Amongst the many lists, that's kind of up there, man. Ain't nobody want to be delivering that bad news. That's horrible. So, man, I might end it like this. Like a real one. On behalf of the department, I apologize. I apologize for everyone that went through what they went through. That was unnecessary. Unnecessary. There was a way we could have handled it better. And you know what? This is what I learned in the military. Good. Let us speak on it. Let us speak on it, because for all you viewers, all you close to 10,000 viewers, man, the next time a crisis, chaos, catastrophe strikes America, I want all of you individually to step up, do the right thing, and put your foot down and say, nah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Right? And document it. Document it, because it will come back to get you, but at least you may possibly be saving lives in the process. Keep pushing forward.